Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BandLab Plus Coffee. I hope your weekend was restful, and I hope you're ready for lots of excellent tracks because it's time to wake up, wind up, and cue up with a new track from Michelle St. George, and it's a collaboration with three others, Fabian Bono, Seeker, and Fizban. The track is called Fools and Kings. So, without further ado, to the left!
Let the music unlock your heart. It's time to collaborate. You're part of the family.
It's time to wake up, wind up, and cue up with another excellent BandLab track. Fools and Kings over here on BandLab from Michelle St. George at Paris 2 Cranes, Paris 2, the number Crains, out of Paris, France, repping 3.06 thousand followers, 372 plays, 83 likes on Fools and Kings original Bossa Nova by my friend Michael in Stuttgart on guitar, with Fabase 2020 on bass, Publicity Seeker on drums, and Fizban on saxes, while she added lyrics and vocals. Hope you enjoy. Let's take a listen. Ooh. Some throwbacks to some other tracks we've heard on here with that island vibe, that chill vibe.
I've been offered diamond rings. I've been loved by fools and kings.
Thanks for the lyrics.
When it's all been said and done, I prefer the simple things. Caviar and fancy cars, bright lights and superstars. All these things could never take the place of the sound of your guitars. Play for me soft and low, bathe me in that gentle glow, and I will sing a lullaby to let you know that I don't care for pearls or gold, and beauty fades as we grow.
I want to commentate, but this is great.
So I tell you now,
I'd almost rather listen.
is my treasure to behold.
Real great jazz lounge feel to it. Saxophone solo. I want to say it was Mario that recently did this kind of island vibe jam track that we featured on BandLab Plus Coffee. I could be wrong. However, I believe one of the things I said was that vocals. I really do like the vocal on this track.
Soft and low, bathe me in that gentle glow.
It fits really well.
I will sing a lullaby to let you know that I don't care for pearls or gold, and beauty fades as we grow. I tell you now, the love you give
Boom, 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 boom. Good bass.
to behold. I've been offered diamonds.
I like how we're using the rim of the snare, just letting it ride. Wow, what a great track. This is a great way to start a Monday morning, and here's why. It's a wind up, right? We woke up, we got our coffee, time to wind up, and we've queued up this track. This track is excellent on a few different levels, but specifically it's bringing us the correct vibe. The vibe with this kind of island laid back track is mixing really well with something like the vibe from Frank Sinatra, more laid back, less on stage, more laid back lounge feel. Almost a Fly Me to the Moon, right? I can just hear that the whole time. And let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Forgive me, it's 5 a.m., so my singing voice is not there. But what I did want to do is give you an example of kind of what was going on in my head. A really great lounge feel, really great jazz feel. And what sets it apart from the last one that we listened to that was just purely island vibe is this takes the island vibe, but the way that it adds jazz vocals and saxophone to it moves us from the island to the jazz lounge. It's crazy how music and just these small things that you choose to do take us from one moment and put us in a completely different one. And that's what this song does. So 2 things I love and 1 thing I want more of. The first thing that I really love is the saxophone in this. We come through and all the elements have their place. They fit really well. But the saxophone specifically, which can be incredibly overpowering when done either incorrectly or as a song that spotlights the saxophone, this one's mixed in really well. Even during the solo, I'm not losing anything else. It was mixed really well. And then just listen to it go off. Who say Fizzbon was on the saxophone. Great job, Fizzbon, at Fizzbahn. That's great. And then along with that, I have to commend the bass, Fabass 2020 at FABASS 2020. The bass is giving us this really great low end that's really carrying the song, and it's the dum, da, dum. And the way that we're kind of plucking those notes is really giving us some movement that we need in this song because everything else is kind of a steady lounge feel. It's really good for chilling out, but the bass is giving us something a little bit funky in the background. It's not going crazy. Dum, da, dum, 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 dum. It's not doing any riffing. It's just dum, 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 dum. And it's really, really serving the track well. Let's see if we can hear it in the background here. Dun, 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 dun. The bass is doing a lot of movement there, which is great. So the saxophone soloing, but not being too harsh. The bass giving us a lot of really great movement. And the drums, just the way that, I don't know if Publicity Seeker played the shaker as well. The shaker is a real good, steady heartbeat. And the drums themselves, just the they really feel good. And everything feels like it gels. This looks like it, or sounds rather like it was put together by a group of people that play together often. And what's really great about that is that for the listener, it brings us into your experience. When you are cohesive as a unit, we come on your journey. You are not trying to make us listen to your music. You are not begging us to find something cool in your music. You are comfortable in your skin and in your band. And we, the listener, feel that comfort, and we wear your track like a blanket, like a nice, warm, comfortable blanket. So all of those musical elements together, culminating in that saxophone solo, is the first thing I love. So great work to everyone who lent their instrumental talents to this track, musician instrumentals. The second thing I love is this vocal from Michelle St. George. Let's come over to the lyrics here. I've been offered diamond rings. I've been loved by fools and kings. When it's all been said and done, I prefer the simple things. Caviar and fancy cars, bright lights and superstars. All these things could never take the place of the sound of your guitars. Play for me soft and low, bathe me in that gentle glow, and I will sing a lullaby to let you know. Man, beauty fades as we grow old, so I tell you that I love you. It is my treasure to behold. This idea of, yes, these fancy things are cool. I've been offered those things, but really what I want is the person behind it. Just play your guitar for me. It's just you and me in the world, and I am here for that for the rest of my life. So, really like how we're putting those lyrics together and the way they come together over this track after the saxophone solo.
You know that I don't care for pearls or gold, and beauty fades as we grow old. I tell you now, the love you give is my treasure to behold.
You even got the saxophone playing melody and counter melody behind her vocals. But the vocals specifically have a sweet spot here. They're not harsh. They're not missing anything. They're not muddy. They sit really well in this mix. They're clear, concise. We understand what's happening. We understand what she's saying. It is just another really well orchestrated part of this track as a whole. And I really like to see that. So great job, Michelle and Fizbon and Seeker and Fabase. These are all just really excellent parts to this whole that bring it together to create this lounge feel that is so good. If there's one thing I want more of in this track, I think it would probably have to do with a little bit more movement. It is a lounge feel, which means keeping it straight on the straight and narrow and keeping it smooth is really important. But there would be me as a producer of things that are more pop, more electronic. This kind of music, while it's outside my comfort zone, I do think represents an excellent opportunity for fusion. So if we were to come in here with this lounge feel and we were to add a filter to...
When it's all been said and done, I prefer the simple things. Caviar and fancy cars, bright lights and superstars. All these things could
So in these areas, I think you have an opportunity to bring in just a sound, whether it's a shaker, another layer of shaker that is super filtered and phased. I think that would fit really well with some of this stuff. Or in the saxophone solo, I think during the saxophone solo, that is an opportunity to change the EQ completely on the guitar behind it and add either a high or a low pass filter that kind of brings the saxophone further to the front. Now, I know these things are all kind of production techniques for electronic and, radio pop. And so on this song, they really don't need them, but these are the kinds of things that could turn this into more of an adventure and less, more of an active adventure and less of a passive adventure, which sometimes we just need to sit down with a glass of whiskey and have a passive adventure. So I totally get that. But if we were to try and go for an active adventure vibe, I think there are just a couple of little production techniques that could take this from that live feel to like a really cool produced electronic fusion of worlds. I mean, I grew up loving Rat Pack music, and I also grew up loving Skrillex. If someone could take and successfully combine those two vibes, man, Rat Pack dubstep or Rat Pack electronic chill wave, I think that could be really, really cool. However, this track has this perfect live feel, this jazz lounge. I would not change anything about this, but I would love to see additionally someone take this and turn it into a really cool fusion with some filtering that brings us some really neat dynamics. Subtle or not, but that's the one thing. Everyone needs to make sure that they go follow all 4 of these folks on BANDLAB, Michelle St. George at Paris to Cranes, as well as Fa-Base 2020, Publicity Seeker, and Fizzbon. I have seen their names relatively often in the lab, so we know they're making good stuff and that they're out there doing cool things. Don't forget, you should also follow DJTatious on YouTube, BANDLAB, or wherever you choose to consume your social media. And until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., we will see ya.